I'm Rob Gehl. I'm in the Department of Communication here at Utah. I got my PhD in Cultural Studies at George Mason University. I have degrees in English from Central Michigan and Western Michigan University. So I don't have a comm background, but I'm in a comm department, so I'm trying to figure all that out. I got interested in social media right when it was becoming popular. Facebook was just taking off. MySpace was huge. So this was about 2008. That was back when MySpace was going to take over everything, just like Facebook is going to take over everything now. So yeah, I kind of got caught in the popular appeal of that stuff, but I didn't want to approach it as a popular text. I want to approach it as something that's more historically contextualized. So I see social media as the latest instantiation of a long history in media. I look at things like the radio and the telegraph and try to see what lessons those technologies can teach us about social media, rather than saying, here's this brand new shiny thing that has no history and look how great it is. So I try to do that historical work. I got interested in social bots because they're fascinating. I mean, you're online and you're talking to somebody through Twitter and you may not know if it's a robot or not. That's amazing to me. And so immediately I had to turn to the Turing test. This is the famous test where you put a computer in a room and a human in another room, and you interrogate them through text to see which one's human and which one's a machine. And if the machine is programmed well enough, it should pass the test. That is, it should keep up its end of the conversation. And what's fascinating about that is that's sort of playing out in Twitter and in Facebook. And in fact, these things are so successful that they're getting thousands of follows in Twitter without people knowing they're robots. In Facebook, they're gathering up private data because they're making connections with friends. They're making friends in Facebook, that's absolutely fascinating to me. That's a great question, the question of what are these things going to be used for? Because you can imagine a government using them to quell dissent online, right? So let's say Occupy people start tweeting about an event, and then your friendly government social bot appears and they don't know it's a social bot and says, well, maybe there's another interpretation. Maybe we can shift this conversation away from dissent to accepting what's going on. And in fact, Syria has used very crude versions of that. Russia has done that as well. I would not be surprised if that sort of thing will come home, just like the drones are coming home in the same way. In addition, and this is much more obvious to me, that marketing is going to pick up on this. So rather than repeating a marketing message over and over to us, like Frosted Flakes are great, right? Rather than repeating that, you can imagine Tony the Tiger having a Twitter account. There you can interact with them. So he, becomes friends with my son or something, and they have a conversation about Frosted Flakes. But there is a utopian side to them too. People have talked about using social bots to heal social rifts. So social bots as kind of peacemakers, which would be very fascinating too. And I think it's going to be up in the air, just like many technologies are always in dispute and up in the air and under debate. One of the arguments that I've made in my book and online is that in many ways we're becoming somewhat robot-like within these systems. So it's highly mediated communication, right? You have 140 characters. There's certain conventions you follow. In Facebook, your profile photo goes here, your text box, your status update is here. It's all very mediated, even though it's presented as we're getting out of your way and letting you follow people and friend people. And so in my view, what's really fascinating about social bots is not that they're really good programs. It's that we're becoming a little bit more machine-like when we're using these systems. That's kind of an unfair or provocative argument, but I'm putting that forward to just highlight the highly mediated aspects of this system, because they claim to be very transparent and letting us do whatever we want and be the media. But it's subtly directing our actions in certain directions and not others. So one of the things that social bots orients us to is what can't you do in these systems? What is not allowed? Why is it that if a social bot appears, that's bad, but if we're on there, that's okay? What's the difference between a social bot and a human? But again, I'm at the beginning of this. I'm not really sure where it's going to go, and who knows what sort of questions might come up, especially as this technology develops.